7 Artisans giving us 135mm f1.8 lens for L mount. I wasn't expecting much, but after using it for a while, this might be the biggest surprise of this year so far. So what is this lens? This is a beautiful portrait prime lens. It's available for Sony E, Nikon Z and L mount, which I am testing here. All the photos you see in this video were taken with S1II. 135mm also suits itself for close-ups or when you want that nice compression, and obviously the subject to background separation. Image quality this lens delivers is simply outstanding. Very sharp lens, even wide open. I didn't feel like I have to step down at any time to get sharp images. It delivers the sharpness you would expect from premium lens. The contrast and color are top-notch, spot on. But 135mm is all about that subject to background separation. And this lens gives plenty of character. It's not clinical. It gives you that nice, slightly swirly bokeh, which is more associated with the vintage lenses than clinical, brand new, expensive ones, which is a good thing about this lens. It certainly feels like a much more expensive lens than it is. 12 aperture blades can create very characteristic 12-point starburst when you step it down. There's literally no chromatic aberration visible, very little. The biggest issue it has got is the flaring. For some people it could be completely deal breaker. That creates these rainbow-like flares. Yes, in some situations it could be absolutely destroying an image, but for me personally, this adds more to the character of the lens. I like that kind of imperfection or these kind of quirky looks that the lens can give. Contrast doesn't drop when you shoot towards bright light sources. Overall speaking, it's very hard to fault this lens when you talk about optical quality. Autofocus on this lens, for me, in the kind of photography and videography I do, works pretty well. I don't do sports or fast-moving action stuff, so for day-to-day stuff like close-ups or portraits I have done, I had literally no problems with it at all. It works extremely well on the S1II, but I had a quick test also on S5II, S5IIX and S9, and autofocus works as you would expect from a premium lens. Important to mention is that the minimum focusing distance is closer than usual with a lens like this, only 68 centimeters. This allows you to get close to whatever you are shooting and capture almost macro-like images. Due to that, the fact that the lens can focus quite close and to infinity, it can create the same problem macro lenses have. The autofocus needs to travel a long way from the closest focusing distance and infinity, and that can sometimes make it hunt a little bit. It's not a big issue, kind of normal with a lens like this. Video filming with this lens is a pure joy. That shallow depth of field really make the footage with it stand out. It gives a lot of cinematic vibe, and it is suitable for portrait type shots, obviously, but also for all kinds of B-roll shooting. Autofocus works well, and what is really important here, there's no focus breathing visible. Very unusual with the lens in this price range for sure. Built, it is all metal and hard plastic construction. It feels absolutely solid. It has got that premium finish. I have been reviewing and using 7 Artisan lenses for years now, and this one feels different. It feels more premium. It feels better made. It feels expensive. It weighs just over 1 kilogram. It's not a light lens. It's not a small lens either. But the closest competition, or the only competition it has got from Sigma for L mount anyway, is actually bigger and heavier than this. Beautifully smooth focus ring, auto manual focus switch, function button as well, and also manual aperture ring with clicks. Big filter thread, 82mm, and this beautiful big front glass element. All weather sealing at the mount, better than nothing, I guess. USB-C socket for connecting it to the computer and updating future firmware updates. One thing I don't like and one thing to complain about is the aperture sound it makes when you change the aperture on Lumix camera. I don't know how it works on the Sony version or Nikon versions, but on Lumix camera, when you change the aperture, when you're shooting photos or video, it makes clunking sounds. Not a big deal unless you're recording audio on the camera, but then with this focal length, if you had a microphone on the camera, you wouldn't be picking much sound from your subject because subject would be too far away from you. Yes, it's annoying that you hear that clunk sound when you change aperture on it, but it's not a deal breaker. Competition until now, if you wanted 135mm portrait lens, the only option you have was Sigma. That lens is extremely good. It's a very good lens, but it is bigger and heavier and more expensive. This retails for £615 here in UK or $690 in US, when Sigma is closer to £1,000 or over $1,000. The weight wise, also Sigma is 1200 grams when this is just over 1 kilogram. What 7 Artisans done here, not only tried and achieved a really good quality lens here, but also it has literally no competition at this size and this price for L-mount. Conclusion, I really didn't expect this kind of quality. I have tested recently the 24, 85 and 50mm 7 Artisan lenses, autofocusing lenses for L-mount, and they were all okay. They were budget-friendly, okay options, but nothing to shout about. This is different. This is first lens from 7 Artisans, which is kind of putting them on the map together with Viltrox and Lumix lenses. It's not perfect, it has got issues, but it's definitely a premium lens and a higher quality than anything they've done before. The sharpness is the biggest surprise, and the overall optical quality, the lack of chromatic aberration, something which is really plaguing much more expensive lenses than this. The flaring is quirky, it's different. It could be a problem for some people, but for me, that's exactly what gives this lens more character. The bokeh and the subject to background separation, absolutely beautiful, creamy, smooth. At this price, this lens is kind of special. Until now, until this lens, 135mm was always a very specialist, a very expensive buy. I do love 135mm lenses, but it's not a focal length I'd use every day. It's great for portrait and occasional that compressed perspective portrait look, but not a lens I'd personally use every day. And the price of 135mm was always stopping me from buying one. This is changing that. It's making the 135mm more accessible to more people. Also, very surprising that 7 Artisans managed to beat Viltrox to L-mount. Obviously, 7 Artisans are not part of L-mount Alliance. I don't know how they're doing this, but this lens exists and it works. If you are looking for a lens for commercial, high-end commercial work, I'd go with Sigma. But if you, like me, want very nice quality 135mm to shoot portraits with, you can't beat this. For the first time, L-mount users do actually have now option of the affordable 135mm, and not only cheap, but also working as good as this. I do recommend this lens. I do like it a lot. And this is it from me. I hope this video was in some way helpful or informative. If it was, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. And also, YouTube has got this new algorithm which tells you which video is actually good for you. So here is the next video you should watch. Check it out.